Chapter 399, Divine Dragon's Steel. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. After Duan Muxingling left, Zhang Yuochen pulled himself together. He did not want to think about her identity anymore. He took out the time and space spinel and entered the internal space, continuing to practice 13 swords techniques of soul chasing. The first 3 sword moves, Haunting Septuple Kill, Soul Breaking Wind Whisper and Soul Repose Shadowing, had been practiced into the perfection of martial arts. Next, he needed to practice the rest of the 10 sword techniques. Zhang Yuochen held the Violet Thunder Sword in his hands. The heart of the sword in the Qi started to spin and turned into a small human shadow. While the human shadow applied the sword technique, Zhang Yuochen also entered the realm of heart integrated into sword. The sword in his hand waved along as well. Zhang Yuochen took 4 days to practice all the sword techniques into the perfection of martial arts. The power of his sword technique seemed to have increased a level. Now only 1 day has passed outside. The second round of the exam shouldn't have started yet. I have reached the advanced stage of the heaven realm. I wonder what kind of power I have now. When Zhang Yuochen had reached the advanced stage of the heaven realm, he did not have a chance to check on his strength. He could finally find out now. Zhang Yuochen closed his eyes and immersed his martial soul into the Qi Sea. A pigeon egg-sized liquid ball of vital essence floated in the center of the Qi Sea. Vaguely, many sacred illusory images of gods floated on the surface of the ball of vital essence. They were flying around in a certain pattern. He circulated the scripture of Emperor Ming's Empyrean, and the ball of vital essence immediately started to spin quickly and released streaks of genuine Qi. The streaks of Qi separated into 36 lines and gushed into 36 meridians in his body. Swish! At the same time, a layer of green light was glowing on the surface of Zhang Yuochen's body. It then rushed out of his body and turned into a layer of celestial body shield with a diameter of about 10 meters. Even if an ordinary warrior in the completion of heaven realm struck out with his full strength, he would not be able to so much as leave a scratch on the celestial body shield. Zhang Yuochen mobilized his genuine Qi into the vessel of spiritual blood and woke the gold dragon pearl in his heart. Divine Dragon Transformation. There was a deep dragon's roar from the dragon pearl. A stroke of golden dragon Qi was released from his heart. It rushed into Zhang Yuochen's limbs and head. Zhang Yuochen shuddered. He felt his body, limbs, and head get pulled by an invisible power, as if he was being ripped apart. Puff it. Zhang Yuochen felt the danger. He immediately put away the genuine Qi and the force finally dissipated. A sharp pain dashed to his throat from his stomach, and blood spurted out of his mouth. He failed. It is indeed not easy to pull off the Divine Dragon Transformation. On the stairway to heaven, Zhang Yuochen displayed the Divine Dragon Transformation and turned into a golden dragon. He easily defeated disciples of the 4 powerful saint families like he was breaking a dead branch from a tree. Hence, the great power of the Divine Dragon Transformation was obvious. However, the Divine Dragon Transformation was a martial technique of the superior class of the ghost level. Zhang Yuochen had never practiced it before. His only guess was that it may be related to the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm. If Zhang Yuochen could freely display the Divine Dragon Transformation, how powerful would he be? He wanted to try again. Zhang Yuochen became more cautious in case he hurt himself before he could even display the Divine Dragon Transformation. But he failed again. With the last experience, Zhang Yuochen was not injured this time. Then, he tried again for the 3rd time. This time, while Zhang Yuochen was striking out the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm, he also infused the genuine Qi into the dragon pearl. He used both the power of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm to drive the power of the dragon pearl. It was a pity that he failed again. After failing for 78 times, he finally made some progress. Zhang Yuochen realized that he could bring out part of the power of the dragon pearl if he quickly struck out the first 5 palms of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm in a row. There would be a layer of golden dragon scale formed on his body. Elephant galloping, dragon in the sky, dragon and elephant returning to earth. Dragon shape and elephant shadow. 9 folds of the elephant power. After striking out the 5th palm, Zhang Yuochen felt a great power rushing out of his body. There was light emitting from the surface of his skin. Nail-size golden dragon scales grew out and covered his whole body. Even his scalp and nails turned into scales too. It was not the full power of the divine dragon transformation that was brought out, but it greatly increased Zhang Yuochen's power and defensive power. He turned into a half-dragon and half-human form. It is too difficult to bring out the divine dragon transformation. I probably won't succeed even if I try for 1,000 times. Maybe only when I meet danger will I be able to display the divine dragon transformation under great pressure and with the power of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm. Of course, bringing out one layer of the armor of the dragon scale had already greatly increased Zhang Yuochen's strength. According to Zhang Yuochen's prediction, if he successfully practiced the sixth palm of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm, divine dragon's steel, he could bring out even more dragon power. The probability of displaying the divine dragon transformation would also be greatly increased. Zhang Yuochen had just reached the advanced stage of the heaven realm. There is no way he could reach the dawn state of the heaven realm overnight. If he wanted to increase his power before the third round of the exam, he could only practice the sixth palm of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm. If he could successfully master the sixth palm, his dragon and elephant Prajnapalm would become a martial technique of the superior class of the spiritual stage. With the profound of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm, even if he just practiced the sixth palm, he could display the power of the martial technique of the inferior class ghost level. Divine Dragon's Steel. Zhang Yuochen stood in the center of the internal space of the time and space spinal. His legs slightly bent and formed a dragon-shaped horse stance. His hands looked like palms and claws. Almost all of his bones were connected together, making clicking sound of bones clashing together. When his palms struck out, there were streaks of flying light like lightning flying out of the center of his palms. A Wu, an illusory image of divine dragon more than 10 meters long, flew out of the center of his palm. It spun around him once and then disappeared. Divine dragon's steel mostly emphasized on the palm power. It could transform the genuine chi into the power of thunderbolt. It was like a divine dragon tiding over a disaster in the thunderbolt. Because Zhang Yuochen swallowed the dragon pearl, it was easier for him to practice the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm and totally release the momentum of his palm power. Both are martial techniques of the superior class of the spiritual stage. The sixth palm of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm is more profound than the 13 swords techniques of soul chasing. Its power is more formidable, and it is extremely virile and masculine. At the same time, it is very difficult to practice. Zhang Yuochen had spent the entire day and night to practice the divine dragon's steel into the beginner level. Zhang Yuochen spent another 3 days to practice the divine dragon's steel into the small success. Next, Zhang Yuochen would strike out tens of thousands palms every day until his vital essence was exhausted. Then he would stop to take a rest. When his vital essence recovered, he immediately continued to practice. Without rest, Zhang Yuochen had been practicing for half a month. He finally practiced the divine dragon's steel into the succeed. If Zhang Yuochen wanted to master the sixth palm of the dragon and elephant Prajnapalm without him reaching heaven realm, it would at least take him 1 or 2 years. At present, he spent less than 1 month to master it. Moreover, Zhang Yuochen had totally refined the half-saint's light in the Qi Si. Although it was only 1% of the half-saint's light, Zhang Yuochen's martial soul equaled to the level of a monk in the 4th change in the fish dragon realm. If he could use the power of the martial soul to regulate the heaven and earth spiritual Qi and turn it into attack power, with Zhang Yuochen's current strength, he would be able to compete with a monk in the 2nd change in the fish dragon realm. Of course, he would not be able to defeat the monk in the 2nd change in the fish dragon realm but only stay on the defensive side. However, if his opponent was a genius of Saint Academy, whether they were in the 2nd change in the fish dragon realm, or even just the 1st change in the fish dragon realm, it was best for him to just run for his life. For example, although Xu Hai was in the 1st change in the fish dragon realm, he was still the disciple of a powerful saint family, which means that he could leap over several realms to defeat his opponent. If Zhang Yuochen ran into him, the best way was to run, and he may even unable to escape. The internal space of the time and space spinel was very narrow. Zhang Yuochen dared not test the power of the divine dragon's steel in it. He could only leave the internal space of the time and space spinel. Bang, bang. Zhang Yuochen came to their martial arts field of the courier station of Martial Market, and he struck out 6 palms of the dragon and elephant prajna palm in a row at the fastest speed. He suddenly brought out the power of the dragon pearl. Swish. Zhang Yuochen was wrapped up by the golden light. His skin gradually became stiff and turned into scales. All his bones went through subtle changes. Just like refining a golden stone, streaks of dragon patterns grew out. The length of his fingers had increased by 2 times and became sharp, turning into 2 dragon claws. There was a searing pain in his back. With a CHH sound, his body grew a pair of 12-meter-long golden dragon wings, which were also covered by the dragon scale and was as hard as iron. Watching the change in his body, Zhang Yuochen was very surprised. It was not divine dragon transformation. He was still half dragon and half human. However, it was more powerful than the previous state in the time and space spinel. With my current strength, even if I don't use the spiritual power and the power of the martial soul, I can possibly fight against warriors on the heaven board for a few moves. Warriors on the heaven board were all very powerful. They were elites among the elites, especially the masters who ranked in the front. Even if Zhang Yuochen used up all his spiritual power and the power of the martial soul, he still could not match his opponent. When Zhang Yuochen practiced in the time and space spinel, 8 days had passed in the outside world, and the second round of the exam of Saint Academy had finally ended. The exam ranking of every department had been posted. They were written in lists hanging outside of Saint Academy. Without a doubt, Zhang Yuochen became the first in the sword technique department. He got a pill of 7th class, Sword Heart Pill, as the reward. Many people saw that Zhang Yuochen actually got first place in the sword technique department, and they were very surprised. How did this happen when Zhang Yuochen merely displayed 3 moves of the sword technique during the second round of the exam? Luckily, Zhang Yuochen was not a disciple of a powerful saint family. Otherwise, some people would have thought that there was a despicable plot behind the assessment. Only very few knew that the 3 moves of sword technique Zhang Yuochen showed had reached the perfection of martial arts. He fully deserved to be the first in the sword technique department. Half Saint Lingxiu sent the sword heart pill to courier station of Martial Market. She personally handed it over to Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen, the 3rd round of the exam will commence tomorrow. The location will be the inferior primitive world that was just discovered. The primitive world is full of unknown danger. There are powerful indigenous monks and is also filled with dangerous places. Even warriors in the fish dragon realm may die there if they are unlucky. Half Saint Lingxiu was very serious. She said again, "You'd better prepare in advance. When you are in the primitive world, you can only count on yourself and no one can help you. I have high hopes for you. Don't let me down."